So Dormammu versus Doom, and let me tell you, this is absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is coming here out of One World Under Doom by Ryan Northier with issue number 4. Now, like every single One World Under Doom issue here, we first start off by looking at this like full-on propaganda style info dump that reflects basically the current state of the world right now under the Sorcerer Supreme himself, Victor Von Doom. The media and the data shown here are completely dominated by pro-Doom narratives, and there's this entire sort of like eerie sense that Earth has not only accepted Doom, but that they've also embraced him as well. Stocks are up, things of that nature. But then we get over here to this Latvian press release, and it says, the news that Earth's leaders welcome Doom willingly has left the heroes reeling. Meanwhile, the dread Dormammu, unstoppable Lord of Chaos and Faultine ruler of the Dark Dimension, has discovered a new and remarkable weakness. While the responsibilities of the Sorcerer Supreme include the sacred duty to strengthen certain spells that protect Earth from Dormammu, Doom's tireless altruism has delayed these duties, seeing an opportunity that may never come again. Dormammu draws his plans against a naked, vulnerable Earth and attacks. And after his initial strike removes our planet's heroes from the universe, only Doom stands in the way. Now we know here from the end of issue 3 that Dormammu was going to make his way to Earth. And what Dormammu has done is that he's made sure that he's removed every opposition that could stop him in his onslaught here against Dormammu. The Avengers are currently gone. The Fantastic Four, they're gone. The X-Men, they're gone. Everyone that Dormammu thought might stand against him, they're all gone. They've been banished in a single instant to an isolated and rapidly collapsing pocket dimension. Alpha Flight, the Champions, heroes major and minor alike, even my steed, says Doom. All of them are gone. All, of course, except for Doom himself. Now, Doom's countermeasures here is that he casts 3 spells. The first protects against Dormammu's attacks, and the other 2, they engage. And then all that remains is himself, Dr. Doom. So he says, he's like, Dormammu, you dare to attack my world. You dare to attack Doom. And Dormammu's like, listen, your realm is unguarded. But Doom was like, that ain't true, because I stand right before you. So Dormammu was like, and that is a surprise. It appears you do know how to wield the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme after all, at least when it comes to protecting yourself. You are all that remains, Victor, the only one left. And as Doom goes on the attack, Dormammu says, he's like, I had worried this might be too easy. And Dormammu does get a little cocky. He's like, but seeing you in person doesn't really dissuade me of that thought. So as he gets close, he drapes up Doom and he's like, so what now, Victor? Do you scheme some way to turn me into your ally as you have the others of this world? Or do you come to me sniveling, begging for my mercy? But Doom's like, sorry to tell you, but this Doom, this one's a fake. And what Dormammu didn't know is that the real Doom was behind him, and that caught him off guard. So here comes the real Doom, and as he whacks Dormammu in the face, he says, the real Doom did not come to bargain. Now, Dormammu wasn't really feeling that attack. He's like, a distraction, a cheap, petty illusion. And Doom was like, yeah, but it was more than enough to deceive you. And as Doom continues, he's like, the eye of Agamotto, it's light, destructive to demons. Doctor Strange only ever employed it directly. Like a fool, he never thought to magically bend that light around him over and over, growing it ever stronger in a torrent, a hurricane, before hitting you with light enough to shame the sun. And you can see Dormammu, he felt that one. But then Dormammu was like, listen, I got the trump card. He's like, you call Strange a fool? And yet, childlike, you look on me and believe all you see is all that there is. You didn't really think that I'd come alone, did you? And it's in that moment when he says, demons rise. And when Doom takes a look behind him, he sees Dormammu's reinforcements. And he mentions how he cast spells to seal his demon portal shut, but it had no effect. And he realizes that, yo, this might actually be a challenge. And he says to himself, he's like, I must be stronger. My magic must be stronger. He realizes, he's like, you know, Doom does have his advantages. As he says to himself, Dormammu is complacent, accustomed as he is to fighting strange. The two of them always battling over and over to a glorified stalemate. He expects me to act like Steven did. A foolish expectation. I am a smarter man, a patently supreme sorcerer. To defeat Dormammu's demons, I need only to use the Eye of Agamotto in a way Strange never would, that he never could. And while there are many possibilities, he's like, I choose one, creating a new spell for its light, something unique, unprecedented, and cast it with two simple words. And then this man says, flame on. And I'm like, bro, you just said something unique and unprecedented. But it is in that moment here where those Dormammu demons, they start to get blasted away. And then he says, then I choose another spell. And this time it's an opposite blast. So I'm like, hold on. This man is just using all the different heroes' powers, but that also lays waste to some more of Dormammu's demons. And to be fair, Doom has the advantage right here because Dormammu's on the ground saying, wait, but then Doom does another spell, and this man has the gall to say snicked as he pulls out Agamotto's spell, Wolverine Claws. And he jams them right into Dormammu. But then Doom realizes, he kind of messed up here. As he says to himself, I had an oversight. He mentions how Dormammu wanted him to get close. He wanted his attention on him. And the reason why is so that the demons could steal the Eye of Agamotto here from Doom. And this is where Dormammu steps in and says, like all egoists, Victor, you seek glory above all else. And this makes you so endlessly predictable. You and I know two things nobody else does. The first is how this truly is all your fault. You allowed Earth's mystical defenses to weaken, but I'll keep your secret because I know your other secret too. You could end this any time that you wanted. It's not too late. You could magically strengthen Earth's defenses in a heartbeat. You could save Earth, rescue all its heroes, and banish me and protect all those people down below. But there is the slight matter of the cost. To do it now, so late, when I am already here, it would mean using up all your magic, necessarily relinquishing your title. You would lose everything. You could do it with a thought, but it is a thought you can never bring yourself to think because it's an admission that Doom is insufficient, lesser, inferior, and yet thus you lose it all anyway, but in a way that is much more painful. I am the Dark Lord of Faltine, and you, Victor, you are just a man. And it's in this moment when Dormammu begins to completely dismantle here Victor Von Doom. But before we go further here, real quick, we just want to say thank you. We see that you guys have been showing up here every single week for the comic book breakdowns that we're doing here at Keepin' It Comic, and it means more than you know. And if you've been enjoying the channel and want to support what we're building here, you can now become a Keepin' It Comic channel member by just hitting the join button below the video. You'll get a badge, you'll stand out in the comments, and then you'll also get many other perks as well, and it helps us grow even more. Or if you would prefer, we also have a link to our Patreon in the description of this video. Either way, you're helping Keepin' It Comic so that we can continue to bring you these videos every single week. Shout out here to Thor's biggest fan who recently joined here on YouTube, and then also shout out here to Jamie and Synchro who are part of our Patreon group as well. We appreciate you, and let's get back to it. So Dormammu here, he begins to rip the armor off of Doom. And then he says, now I take an arm as he breaks it. And then next he says, now a leg. And then he says, finally, Victor, I let my demons feed on you as he throws him into the ocean or the water, wherever, you get the point. And Dormammu being pleased with himself is like, a decent realm. But then Doom under the water as he's being fed on here by these demons, he's like, I have not lost. I have not lost. I have minutes of breath in my lungs, minutes. I have a good arm, a good leg, and I've never needed the Eye of Agamotto to ensure that Doom's will be done. And it's in that moment here where Doom bursts out of the water and he screams, Dormammu! But then Dormammu says, he's like, you think yourself pernicious, Victor? Well, you're just stubborn, a dead man who simply hasn't realized it yet. So then Dormammu charges in. He's like, all right, let me give you that push that you need across the finish line. And you can see here the bones are continuing to crack on Doom. And he grabs Doom here, Dormammu does, by the neck. And he says, Dr. Doom, this is where your story ends. But Doom still got a little bit of fight in him. He says, the second of my 3 spells, cast when Dormammu first attacked, activates at my mental command. A time spell to freeze everyone but Doom for a single minute. One last chance to defy death. I'm held in Dormammu's magic. In the moment time resumes, he is going to destroy me. I've earned seconds to figure out how to prevent it. My armor, gone. The eye, forgotten on the bed of the East River beneath me. My spells, exhausted. All I have is my mask, what remains of my cloak, and my will. I'm held tight in Dormammu's spell. Nothing moves, nothing budges. I can't even breathe. No. I try to move my broken limbs, forcing them despite the shards of my broken bones cutting at my muscles. Nothing. And for a moment, I permit myself to consider that I've lost. Doom gives himself but the smallest taste of defeat, and my entire soul rejects it. It is antithetical to every cell of my being. It is not Doom. I direct the totality of my will toward my shattered arms, and a single finger moves, an almost imperceptible amount. The pain is indescribable beyond the physical. Lesser men would do anything, promise anything, for only a chance to never feel this way again. But Doom is not a lesser man. I have lost everything true, but Doom is not the mask. Doom is not the armor. Doom is not the magic, and Doom is not the name. Doom is me. I am Doom, and Doom never fails. And that is just enough here to knock Dormammu back. As Doom continues, he's like, other men would have been exhausted, ruined. Doom is merely determined. So then Dormammu's like, temporal magic? Cheap? And it will only work once. But then in that moment, that final plan of Doom begins to come to fruition. The final of his 3 spells, and the one that he's been fighting for, buying time for ever since. The instant Earth's self-proclaimed heroes were taken to that pocket dimension, he used the identical magic to send his Doombot there as well. There, they were laboring with the other heroes to escape. Because while Dormammu is power manifest, he has never realized that with the greatest power, there must also come the greatest weakness. Dormammu is the end of everything, and when facing such an oblivion, heroes will always choose the greater good. And what's the greater good in this moment? It's Doom. As he continues, he's like, they will choose to fight for this world. They will choose to save it. And thus, Earth's heroes choose Doom. And it's in this moment, guys, where we see all the heroes come through as Captain America says, Avengers, assemble! And that is the story for now. So this, of course, is going to be continued here, and this brings the Avengers into a very precarious position, right? Now they have to make a decision between Doom or Dormammu. Well, we all know it's going to end with still the Avengers versus Doom. I personally would have preferred to have seen how Doom himself would have done this, but maybe this is probably, I'll be honest, this is actually still pretty satisfying if you ask me. Now, what exactly do you predict happening next here? Leave it down below in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, leave a like on this video here so that YouTube knows to push it out to a wider audience. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Also, join our membership group here on YouTube. Shout out, as I mentioned earlier here, to Thor's biggest fan, who was our recent first member here on YouTube. We appreciate you. And also those who have joined on Patreon already, Jamie and Synchro. Appreciate you guys watching so much. Until next time, thank you so much for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic. Bye.